Ah, yes. The yearly event that is the MLB World Series, where the two best teams of that MLB season face off to see who will be crowned the champions. Interestingly enough, a large portion of the MLB's fan base decided that this year's ALCS between the Astros and the Yankees was going to be the real World Series, which clearly shows the utter disrespect to the Montreal-Washington Expos. The Montrealais are truly kicking dirt right now. Why'd you never make the World Series in Montreal, huh? Got something against Canadians? The year is 1994, and not only was I born, but that was the last year that the Montreal Expos made the playoffs. Except that playoff was canceled due to a MLB players strike. Rumor has it the players on the Expos responded to fans by saying sorry. But enough about Montreal, okay? They're gonna have plenty enough to talk about when the team that is represented by a fish that looks like a kite decides to play half their games there. In 2005, the Washington Nationals were born, and boy was it a rough start. However, those rough starts led to something that the fans, the residents of the DMV, can cherish, unless you're an Orioles fan. It was because of those losing seasons that allowed the Washington Nationals to not have a losing season since 2011. So clap it up for the Nationals. All of those losing seasons have led up to what we are seeing now, a World Series appearance. Now you might be shocked to hear this, but I was not one of those people claiming that the Astros versus the Yankees was the real World Series. In my opinion, that was just an excuse for a team that lost to seem like they actually accomplished something. Now, while I don't think the Nationals will win, I still think they're a very respectable team. They have a top pitching rotation, and they have a ton of guys who can hit. You know, a guy named Anthony Rendon, who is an MVP candidate this year. The only thing that would possibly hold them back, or should I say the only thing that should hold them back, is the bullpen. If their starting pitching and hitting holds them back, then they just did something wrong. But I said this in a previous video. I see a lot of similarities between the Houston Astros of this year and the Washington Nationals of this year, which is exactly why I titled this video Battle of the Twins. And it might have also been a subtle jab at the Twins losing immediately. Now this will sound 100% obvious, but I think what this World Series comes down to is whoever's pitching rotation, starting pitching rotation, fails earliest will lose. So in other words, if the starting rotation pitchers mess up, bam, you lost. While the Astros on paper have a better bullpen staff than the Nationals, I think it's safe to say that they have still not instilled trust within their fan base. I think that is pretty obvious if you look on Twitter. Basically, all you have to do is go on Twitter or maybe one of the live game posts on baseball's Reddit, and as soon as an Astros reliever gets put in, you can see that the average blood pressure of a Houston Astros fan tends to go up. If this series turns out to be a bullpen battle, much like the ALCS Game 6, I will be highly disappointed. I want to see an all-out pitching duel. I want to see one of the starting pitchers just instill a ton of disappointment amongst their fans' faces. As bad as that sounds, I think we can agree that it is just an extremely different feeling that you get seeing a starting pitcher give up a home run than it is a bullpen pitcher. It just hits different. That is, unless your team is actually winning and then the reliever comes in, proceeds to give up a 2-run home run, which I guess on the bright side allows for the glory to get shifted to a player who actually deserves it. Everybody loves Jose Altuve. I think this series will be fantastic and I cannot wait to watch it. While some people might see it as a one-off as the Astros just blowing them out, I see it as potential to be one of the better World Series of all time. Which is a huge stretch, I know, but just believe. We have great starting pitching on both sides. Truly great starting pitching on both sides. Not only that, both teams can hit. That is the perfect recipe for an all-out battle. Honestly, I think it'll be interesting to see how many runs are actually scored. We all know that if pitchers like Garrett Cole, Steven Strasburg, Justin Verlander, Max Scherzer, Patrick Corbin, Zach Greinke, if these pitchers show up with their best stuff, it will be hell for the opposing team's hitting. But if these games come down to a bullpen matchup, it will get ugly really fast. But man, hopefully the Nationals decide to come with some, a multiple playbook of signs. Because the last thing that us fans should want, whether you're a fan of a team that's outside of this World Series or not, nobody likes an excuse crybaby. I don't want to see any articles talking about either team, Astros or Nationals, taking signs from the other simply because they did their homework. I don't want to see anything about tipping. I don't want to see any of it. Nonetheless, this series can be great. Do not underestimate the team known as the Nationals. Simply sit back and enjoy what we are about to witness. And as far as my prediction, Astros in 5.